It's Monday, and you know what that means. It's another installment of Ask Nobbins. You guys left your comments on the previous episode. I'm going to answer a few of those questions today. If you want your question potentially featured in the next one, just leave a comment under this video. Let's get to it. This is from Not Jammy. Hi, Nob. Hi. If we sign Wirtz, do you think we can use both Echeverri and Wirtz together somehow? If yes, then please explain. I've picked this one because it's just come out that City have been rejected by Wirtz. That's a shame because Wirtz is a lovely player. I'm not as down as it as other people because I'm still more interested in signing these 8s rather than a 10, but it's still a bummer that an elite player does not want to join you, so that's a shame. Bringing it back to the Echeverri element of this question, I don't think that these two can coexist as they are right now. Now, maybe either or will develop, but as the players they are right now, I don't think so. I think the way you maximize Echeverri, which I'll go into more detail in the video this week. Yes, guys, it's actually coming out this week. Who would have thought? The way you maximize him is not to play him alongside another more offensive midfielder like a Wirtz or someone who is not capable of also playing in a deeper role. Echeverri would be maximized if he was the only guy doing that. So if we're talking about a shape, what does that translate to? That translates to less of a 3-2-2-3. We have those two 8-10 hybrid type players. Think of the partnership of De Bruyne and Gundogan, or the partnership of De Bruyne and Foden last season. And you move to more of a diamond midfield. If he had to share it with Wirtz, and he absolutely would have to, I think that would diminish Echeverri's responsibilities. It would diminish his impact and input on a game as well. Partnering him, on the other hand, with someone who can play a slightly deeper position, whether that's Reinders, whether that's Foden. We've seen Foden work really well with the more advanced De Bruyne in the past. That could potentially be a really nice partnership, the left-footed Foden, the right-footed Echeverri. So that's how Echeverri could work with the rest of this squad. And we aren't signing Wirtz clearly. And if you are a fan of Echeverri, if you believe that he's ready to go right now, if you think that we should be locking him in as a starter or someone to get a good amount of minutes next season, then you should be quite happy that City are not going for Wirtz, because I can't see a world where the two of them can coexist. I don't want to be that guy, but if you're an Echeverri believer, then not signing Wirtz, for his development anyway, is a blessing in disguise. Amin97 with a Naruto profile picture asks, should Haaland be on the edge of the box against low blocks? I don't think so, because if Haaland's on the edge of the box, then who is occupying the defenders within it? If he's on the edge of the box, now the defenders can push out a little bit more. What you really want to do is pin back the opposition and get them as close to their own goal as possible. With Haaland's positioning, this is what we call gravity, where a player is able to suck in defenders. Even if you're just using Haaland as a sort of decoy type play, which isn't ideal, but sometimes it is a necessity, push Haaland onto the centre-backs, they occupy him. All of a sudden, this is going to create space behind him. This is where your small space pocket players, your technicians, or players who can be a threat from outside the box come into play. There is a reason why we scored so many goals last season from outside the box, and it was because of exactly that. If you put Haaland on the edge of the box, you're minimizing him, and you're probably minimizing the attacking impetus of the rest of the team. So I wouldn't have him on the edge of the box. He's also not particularly known for his ball striking or goal scoring from outside the box either. He wants to be in the box. He wants to be attacking those crosses, asking questions of defenders. Zach Yakami with the question of, what are your thoughts on Sevilla? Roma goalkeeper. City will be looking for a keeper due to our goalkeeper uncertainty. He seems like a good candidate who ticks all the boxes. Personally, I would like to see him at City next season. I won't lie to you, I don't know anything about the Roma goalkeeper. I can absolutely look into him. In fact, one of my tasks this week is to scout Juan Garcia. Heard a lot of good things about him from people who I trust and people whose opinions and views I respect and agree with for the most part. So I'll be looking into him. I can maybe add him to the list. Right now, where my brain is, I want us to go get a Chevalier of Lille. I can certainly add him to my list, but there is no doubt that we do need to replace Ederson in the summer. He wants to leave. He tried to go last summer. We just asked too much for him, and we might need to have a think about how much do we need the goalkeeper coming in to be this amazing ball-playing goalkeeper? Do we need to look in a different direction? That's not the same as sign Donnarumma and go totally counter to that and don't have a player who can really play out from the back comfortably. You still want competence there, but do we focus more so on the shot stopping than the shot prevention and the ball playing. Maybe that's something we do. I don't know whether that's the correct decision. I don't know. But Pep last season was eager to play Ortega at times because he had better shot stopping than Ederson. So maybe City are going in a different direction. Musty asks, if you're on a deserted island and you can only choose 3 foods with unlimited supply, what would you choose? So 3 foods that I'm not going to get bored of. I'm not actually the biggest fan of pizza. I like pizza. I do like it, but I'm not as big on it as everyone else. However, you're going to have all the variety. It's not going to get too boring. You can even turn it into like a meaty garlic bread if you really want, technically. I might throw, I know it's another carb. It's a carb heavy here. Although I am deserted on an island, I probably need the energy. Pasta is another one. Sauces, there are different shapes. There's different flavor profiles. Lots of variety there. So I'd go for that. Prawns. Prawns are elite, and I could literally have buckets of prawns, garlic prawns especially. What are you guys choosing though? And why? Let me know why I am wrong. What 3 foods are you having on a deserted island? Cybergamer6621 asks, do we have too many attacking midfielders / pocket players? And is it causing an imbalance in terms of the defense and generally the whole team? No, not necessarily. What we have, however, what is the issue at City? It's not that City have too many carry-first players. It's that we don't have enough pass-first players. Now, a pass-first player does not mean that this player can't carry the ball. Kevin De Bruyne is a pass-first player. That is his first instinct whenever he gets the ball. The amount of times that De Bruyne picks up the ball and carries it with pace, he's also able to carry it. So they aren't mutually exclusive. But in general, the natural instincts of too many of our players are to carry it first. For example, players who we've tried to replace Rodri with. Kovacic is one of those. There aren't enough passers in the side with Rodri's absence. Rodri's a pass-first player. Again, doesn't mean he can't carry, but that is his natural instinct. Declan Rice, a carry-first player. Doesn't mean he can't pass. That's all it is. So I don't know if it's about having too many pocket players or small space players. There might be something in it that there's not enough larger space players, but primarily passing over large distances and maybe even carrying over those distances as well, because we do have Núñez who can do that, but we're playing him at right back rather than the centre. So there is definitely an imbalance in the side. I totally agree with that, Cybergamer. I don't know if it's due to having too many, attacking midfielders or too many pocket players. It's absolutely fine to have those sorts of players on the pitch, but they have to be complemented by other types of players. So it's not that we have too many of this, it's that we don't have enough of the other. Miami Snoopy with the best question of the video. Can you tell us more about your merch? Great question. We're not going to stop this trend. Look at that. It is a fraud top fraud watch. It's the equivalent of having this all the time, but just on your back. So everyone, wherever you go, knows that you are calling them a fraud. And you're just better than them, because not only do you have a fraud watch shirt saying that they're a fraud, you've also got Nobbins merch. That makes you a real one. So there you go. This is a very long question from Audia. There's a lot of questions there. I can't really answer and address all of them, but starting with that first one, why is it City are no longer overlapping the wingers, especially when your 2 or 3 opposition players are on the wide players? I believe that's simply because there is not enough support from the fullbacks. This isn't a dig at who's been playing at left back and right back this season, but who's going to be more naturally inclined to assist a winger, a Kyle Walker in his prime or Manu Akanji? Who's going to be more likely to help out Doku on that left side? Cambiasso or Nathan Ake or Guardiola? It's the former, not the latter. When we hopefully sign a proper left back and right back in the summer, what we are going to see, and hopefully if they are the right attacking mindset, is our wingers being less isolated 1v1 or 1v2 or 1v3. The overlapping fullback is going to either take a player with them, giving more space for the winger, or the winger is just going to play it off to the overlapping fullback. They're going to pop a really nice cross in. That is the idea. So it has been an issue this season. Too many times, Doku, Savio are expected to, take on 3, 2, 4 players all at once. It's just impossible. It's not Savio's fault that Núñez is not a proper right back. Maybe the best example was the FA Cup final. When Foden came on to play at right wing on the touchline, if you're going to play any touchline winger really, but certainly one like Foden, who isn't a winger, never mind, isn't a 1v1 winger from a standing start, if you're going to do that, then you need some sort of proper support from your fullback. and it was Akanji. That, I would say, is the problem. I don't think it's a case of, Pep's coaching has gone down the drain. Look, Pep has made mistakes this season, and I'm not trying to absolve him of any blame. It's not that Pep has forgotten how to manage. It's not that City's style of play is fundamentally wrong and flawed. It is just that the players are no longer able to do it. But let's see what happens after a proper summer and a hopefully transformative summer. Just on that, talking about Foden, because I mentioned it there, Unknown here says, would Foden be a long-term right-wing solution with him drifting into midfield to score his signature goal rather than in the 10? We so have got to, this guy as well, by the way, got to move on from any notion that Foden is a winger or is an option out wide. It is not 2021 anymore. He can technically play there. He can technically play there very well in the right environment and under the right conditions. Not for one moment saying that Foden can never play well on the right, because history tells us that will be a load of shite. Can happen, but we just need to move on from it. We just need to stop saying that he's a winger, he can play out there. No, he's a midfielder who, in a pinch, can do a job there. Now is the time for the manager to just go, right, you are a midfielder, you're going to play in the centre, or you're not going to play at all, actually. I would actually rather that for Foden. I'd rather he just not play than play out wide. He would absolutely, if he was allowed to drift inside, be able to, score those goals. But I actually prefer Foden from the left of midfield anyway. I think he's a better overall player there. Less of a goal threat, sure, but I think as an overall player, he's far better there. We're no longer going for Wirtz. It'll be interesting to see, will we try to sign another alternative, whether that's Xavi Simons or Baena, or are we just going to go with what we have? Are we going to have faith in, a partnership of Foden Gibbs-White, or Foden Echeverri, or Bob Echeverri, or Bob Gibbs-White, or another combination therein? What are we going to do there? Regardless, whatever we do, I just want my midfielders to be midfielders and my wide players as wide players. It's great being versatile. We can't be not maximising our players when we really should be doing so. Thank you so much for your questions. Hopefully you found that interesting. If you would like your question to be potentially featured in the next installment, leave a comment under this video. It can be about anything, mainly football related, occasional non-football. Do you want me to go into more detail on the Wirtz situation? Do you want me to go into more detail on who we should potentially sign in the summer? Do you have a question about the present, the future of City, or football generally? Leave your thoughts in the comment section and I will try to get back to you in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Shout out to my wonderful, beautiful hardcore ultras, Tony, Ethan, Spartacus, and Silver splits the blue. If you want to get into the Hall of Fame, click that join button to become a member of the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.